Welcome to 5th grade parent night. If you weren't watching this video, chances are that you weren't able to join us this evening, or maybe you're just going home and you want to watch it again. Maybe you're sitting down with your students and you want to watch it as well. This slide right here represents all the things that were covered for the parent night. Ms. Sullivan welcomed and provided introductions. We had a description of our electives, and there were some performances as well. We talked a little bit about the transition to middle school developmentally, and then we went over how to register, which we'll go over again on this slideshow. All of these items will be seen by students during their 5th grade visits on Thursday. The first thing we talked about were our electives. Students take 2 electives at Canyon Ridge. All 6th graders must take a physical education class. What do we mean by that? Well, in the 6th grade, for boys, that means they're going to take 1 year of PE, or Lifetime Fitness, and the person in charge of that is Coach Simmons. For the girls, they can take 1 year of PE, or they can take a semester of PE and a semester of dance. The point of contact for the girls' Lifetime Fitness class is Coach Brenda Edwards, and the point of contact for the dance class is Miss Stephanie Ferguson. A lot of people often ask, well, can I take PE first and then dance and PE? Excuse me. That is completely random, so we won't be able to control that. So if you sign up for that option, it's just going to be whatever comes up by the computer on your schedule. The next thing we talked about was that students now have one more elective choice, and they can choose one of these 3 choices. They can choose the elective wheel, choir, or band. You can see the points of contact there for choir and band, as well as the elective wheel. The elective wheel currently consists of a sampling of 2 electives, a semester of theater arts and a semester of art. Next in our presentation this in the evening was a actual performance by our dance, our choir, and our band, and of course students will see these 3 performances as well during their pep rally portion of their 5th grade visits.
One of the big things that we like to cover with our incoming parents are the big differences between elementary and middle school, especially if this is your first time to have a middle school student. In elementary, you are used to having 1 to 3 teachers, staying with that same class, having a homeroom for most of the day. This way the teachers get to know the students very closely. They might rotate just for specials or electives. They have 1 desk, 1 centralized location for their things. Also, they'll walk with teachers and classmates to lunch, to recess, specials in the bus. They'll form lines and they go everywhere the teacher goes. And oftentimes the elementary school is a smaller building. The difference is in middle school is that students come from more than just 1 elementary school. So the opportunity to get to know more students, you're going to be attending, you're not just the new kid because you're new with 3 other elementary schools. You have lots of different teachers. In addition to that, you're going to change classrooms 6 times a day and have a locker, which means more independence. When you ask 6th graders what their favorite thing about middle school is, they don't have to walk in a line. So students really enjoy that independence and the flexibility of keeping up with their own schedule. With keeping up with your own schedule needs more responsibility. You have to change classes in a set amount of time. You have to keep track of things and know what materials you need from one class to the other because you do have a locker. You're not carrying your books with you in a backpack. Students are also mixed with older students in some of their electives, and your peer groups are constantly changing. With all that said, some worries might already be sticking out to you. Have no fear. We'll address all these worries with your students on 5th grade visits, and then again during the summer during Eagle Camp. The lockers. Students will have a locker combination. You can already start practicing with your student on that combination by buying your own lock. And we go over that in the summer with them as well, so they feel very prepared. Getting to class on time and where do I go? The middle picture, hopefully that won't feel like our hallways to your students because 6th grade teachers are very understanding. They are standing out in the halls the first week of school. They will actually walk the 6th graders to their homeroom, their first period class on the first day of school. They are there to support them, help them with their lockers. There's no need for them to stress and worry about getting to the next class on time. Other worries, do I take a shower after gym? How am I going to do that? Where do I put my gym clothes? The coaches are also going to go over that the first couple days of school. So just helping the students adjust to the system and learning how Canyon Ridge works. We are here to support your student. Some other things developmentally for middle school students, big things that stand out. Belonging, becoming a part of a group, learning out who they are, connecting with the school. Encourage your student to get involved, join a club, attend a sporting event, going to school dances, being a part of the traditions and customs of Canyon Ridge. Another big thing in middle school is a constant changing social group. One day they're best friends with this person and the next day they're not. And so helping that student adjust to those emotions and finding a peer group and trying things out in middle school, the flexibility of getting to come to school with lots of options and choices and bigger peer groups. Middle school parents, hopefully this is your philosophy on life, and hopefully you're sitting there hearing this and still thinking this. And hopefully this is not your philosophy. If you're panicking and freaking out right now, we're going to walk through some examples and talk to you about some common pitfalls and what to do to avoid those.
So we've talked a little bit about some common student concerns. Now some things that we see a lot of parents kind of walking into. First of all, as a parent, you want to make sure that you have a clear role as a parent. You want to make sure that you're there for the student, that you're not completely absent, and that you don't buy into the drama. Your kids are going to come home and give you versions and their perspectives, and you're going to listen to them, and your first reaction is going to be to want to jump in and save them because you love your child. And that might not always be the best move. Because we know that there are three different kinds of parents. We know that there's the helicopter parent that's going to hover over everything, and that child's not really going to be able to make their own choices without having a parent, which in sixth grade we kind of get. It's, you're transitioning to sixth grade, but the goal is by the time a kid moves from middle school to high school that they don't need their parents there because they're going to be able to make responsible choices and be able to live with the outcome of those choices. We know that there's the drill sergeant parent that just tells the child what to do. Again, this isn't the best method because a child's never learned how to make their own choices without a parent telling them how to do it. And believe it or not, unless you're my mother wanting to be with me, you're not going to always be there for your kid. And so what we're looking to have is a consultant in your child's life. And as a consultant, you're going to outline the options, outline the choices, help the child make their own choices, and live with the consequences and the outcome of whatever choices they make. Oftentimes, we have many opportunities for you to be a consultant. For instance, a lot of times we'll get a parent phone call that says, "My child doesn't know any of her classmates. Can you put her on the same team as her friends?" That question is an opportunity for you to become a consultant, and by asking it, it's showing that you're not being a consultant, that you're actually trying to solve the problem for your child rather than coming up with a way to support your child so that they can own the problem and begin working toward their own solution. A way to be a consultant in this situation was be able to respond to the child and say that this is a great time for you to make even more friends. I understand your friendships are valuable. This is an opportunity for you to grow in that area. What are ways that you can hang out with your friends outside of school, and what are ways that you can make new friends in school? Another concern that we often hear is my child doesn't get along with the teacher, and that often is followed with wanting a schedule change. Again, that request isn't really teaching your child to make their own decisions and come up with options on their own. It's actually coming in and bailing your child out of a problem. Not necessarily what a consultant parent would do. A way that a consultant parent would ask is, we can choose our friends. We can't choose our teachers, or our family for that matter. Let's come up with a plan to work through this with the teacher. And maybe it's the student, and the parent, and the teacher sitting down, coming up with a plan, working it out. Very, very rarely do schedule changes occur because a child doesn't get along with the teacher. I wouldn't say it doesn't happen at all, but it's definitely the exception to the rule, because what we want is our students to develop tools and mechanisms to where they might not get along with a person, but they can still have a working environment with them. Another concern is my child wants to get out of their year-long electives. Hey, I signed up for band, it's 6 weeks in, and they don't like it anymore, so we want to get out. Again, if this is a question you're calling our office, this is an opportunity for you to be a consultant, and the consultant would respond, hey, this is a great opportunity for your child to understand the value of their commitment. Next year, when choices come along, they don't have to choose band again, but they've made the choice. Let's have them live with whatever the outcome of that choice is for the actual full year.
Another concern, my child isn't organized. How can I help? Helping your child by being that consultant, by establishing a routine at home, checking in with the student to help them develop those study habits, and to help support them in figuring out a system that works for them, embracing technology if they really are attached to their cell phone, and helping them come up with a system of putting things in their calendars and posting due dates on a home calendar, and setting this up early in the school year. And then that way the systems are in place, and then you can slowly back off later as that child becomes more independent and learning how to stay organized. We hear this question a lot. My child is struggling academically. Now what do I do? The teachers are a huge component in helping set goals, setting up a parent-teacher meeting to address some of the concerns that you're seeing, and helping the teacher become aware of what you're seeing at home versus what they're seeing in the class, and coming up with a plan together that involves the student stating what their concerns and biggest needs are for their class. So we hear about all these concerns. Another one that comes to mind, lockers, top locker and bottom lockers. If your child gets a bottom locker, helping them understand that, hey, let's see how we can make this work, instead of helping come up with, hey, let's see if we can get a different one. Helping them see the value of sharing and coming up with maybe a plan of a different time to visit the locker, and just helping them work through it.
So basically, we want to make sure you guys know, if you're watching this video, that you're going to make it. Your child's going to make it too. You're not alone in this journey. And as the little picture to the right says, keep calm, put your feet up. We'll take care of your kid, and we'll learn together on how to be a consultant in their life, and how they can begin owning and taking responsibility for their education. The next phase of the presentation moves on to actually registering your child. When your students come over for 5th grade visits, they'll go through a pep rally. They'll have a student-teacher panel where the 5th graders will be able to ask questions. They'll eat lunch, and then finally they'll end up in their registration rooms. Don't worry, nothing that the students do in their registration rooms are permanent. We're just going to show them exactly what we're showing you tonight, how to get to the CRMS main page, how to choose guidance and counseling, how to click course catalog and transition, and then finally to choose the grade 5 to grade 6 registration. When you do that, you're going to see that there's going to be a copy of the course catalog, a copy of the choice sheet, which your student will be bringing home from 5th grade visits, online how-to videos for registering, how to fill out the choice sheet, and how to utilize the Texas MyZone registration site. So those videos will be shown to your 5th grade students at 5th grade visits. They will actually put pen to paper and put what they want on their choice sheet. They'll take a version of that choice sheet home. You will make any corrections you want. You will go onto the Texas MyZone website and actually register for their classes. And then the final step is that you will return that copy of your choice sheet to your student's elementary school teacher, and the elementary school will then ship it back over to us. So that whole process is all outlined on the choice sheet, which if you look further down on this website, you'll be able to see the choice sheet information as well as everything else listed in this slide. And finally, if you have questions or concerns, feel free to email or contact our administrative assistant, Cheryl Kleffner. She's a huge resource for our counseling office, and if you're at the presentation, you may have filled out slips at the back. Thank you very much for your attention.